But anyway, I was talking to some of the people, and we've all moved out of town, and not too many hours left in Laurel. And I have all these questions running in my mind, where are my classmates? Where did they go? Did they get married? Their kids? Just how are they doing? What are they doing? And, I was just thinking I'd like to say a couple of things about my little family. Elizabeth, hold up your hand. Elizabeth is my first little girl, I'll make this brief. And her company is Rock Solid Security, named after her husband, Rock. Hold up your hand. And they tell me that they secure homes and businesses. And they say they do it with the very latest of technology. Now folks, we can be in London, England, and we can turn our coffee pot on and off in Atlanta, Georgia. Now I don't know why in the name of God I'm going to do that, but they said you can do it. You can open your doors, you can raise your garage doors, you can see who's coming in the front and the back, talk to them if you want to. Annette, hold up your hand, darling. That's my second little girl. Her company is Wealth Integrity Financial. And she manages millions and millions and millions of dollars of people's money. She helps them with their finances.
A lot of it is helping.
She helps them with their finances, their 401ks, their retirement, estate planning, and even she helps them in debt. But anyway, not too long after she got married, she moved in the house across the street from me. And I come home one evening, we're all there together, and I just wanted to give one word of encouragement, if it's all right. There were two artists sitting at the kitchen table. One of them was a singer. He traveled all over the United States, they did, and did concerts. The other one was a singer and a songwriter, and his name was Andre Crouch. And Andre wrote a song called Through It All. Well, class 65 years, and some of us, I'm sure, at times, has felt like we have been through it all. So some of the words that he said was, I've been a lot of places, I've seen a lot of faces, but there were times that I felt all alone. He said, I've shed a lot of tears and I've had a lot of sorrows. But listen to this, he said, I thank God for the valleys that I've been through, the mountains I've climbed, and I thank God for the storms that he has carried me through. You see, class, most of us have had our ups and downs in life. We've had our ins and outs. There's times when we felt alone. There's times when we shed tears. There's times when we've had sorrows. But Andre's song went on and said, through it all, I have learned to depend upon the Lord.
Amen.
You see, class, if we never ever had a problem here on this earth, then we would never ever have known that God could solve them. So Andre says, through it all, I have learned to depend upon the Lord.
Amen.
I got a letter this week that I'd like to read. And it may have been from one of our classmates. And it could have been the First Baptist Church of Laurel, I don't know. But there was this proper Baptist lady, and she was planning a trip, kind of like the judge has said. We got a group of people that planned this reunion. Took a lot of time, a lot of effort, put it all together. They wanted to get it right. Well, and I want to commend all of you that did that. We appreciate it. But this lady is a proper Baptist lady putting together a trip, camping trip. So she wants to sit down and ride the owner of the campground. And she starts off riding, and she's concerned about the facilities. Are they modern, or she has questions about it. So she starts riding, and she comes to this word, toilet. Now, she's a proper Baptist lady. So she didn't feel comfortable writing down the word toilet. So, So she said, well, maybe if I use the old-fashioned term, bathroom commode, that'll sound better. She's a proper Baptist lady. Well, she started writing, Judge, that didn't sound good either. So she said, well, maybe if I abbreviate it would sound better. So rather than bathroom commode, she wrote down BC. Well, she sent the letter off to the campground owner. He got the letter. He started reading it, and he couldn't figure out what in the name of God she meant. So he carries it around to the people in the campground and says, you know what this meant? Nobody knew what it meant. But he was lucky. He come up on another proper Baptist lady. She looked at it, and at the top of the letterhead, it says Baptist Church. So now, he says, he replies to the letter, because she had asked him in the letter, does your campground have its own BC? Well, see, she's concerned. She's got 300 or 400 people going, and she wants to know if they got more than 1 or 2 commodes. But she didn't want to use that terminology. So this is his reply. The BC is located about 9 miles from the campground. Our trip. Under a beautiful grove of trees. Now, he said, I admit it is quite a distance if you're in the habit of going regularly. and he added to it. He said, no doubt you will be pleased to know that it will seat 350 people at one time. And it's open on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And he went on to say, some of our folks like it so well they take their lunch and spend the day. The acoustics out of this world. Very good. He says, let me make sure I got this straight. He says everyone can hear the very quietest passage. He said it may interest you to know that my daughter met her husband there. Unfortunately, my wife is ill and has not been able to attend. Lord, it's been a good 6 months since she went last. You know, as we grow older, things seem to be a little more effort to go in cold weather. And he concluded with this. Perhaps I, campground manager, the man, could accompany you the first time you go, sit with you, and introduce you to all the other folks that will be there. I look forward to your visit. I don't want to take too much time. There's not one thing that I've got to tell you about. In one of the class reunions, I stood up and I said, class, you don't know it, but I'm a prophet. Well, you should have seen y'all's faces. The eyes got big, the mouth flew open, and I said, well, you know, the Bible said, if you predict the future and it comes true, that's prophesying. So then I told y'all the story about the judge. Lester, you and Annette Rocky don't know this. Mr. Thomas was the principal of our high school. I love Mr. Thomas. And Mr. Thomas has this beautiful daughter. And her name is Margaret Ann. And everybody on campus knew that Charlie boy was going with Margaret Ann. So one day, I walk up to Mr. Thomas on campus, and I said, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to be honest with you. I got my doubts about old Charlie boy. I said, he seems a little bit squirrely to me. I said, if he marries Margaret Ann, he'll take her off to some foreign country and leave her. Or he'll leave her at a truck stop somewhere. Well, the judge admitted she left her at a truck stop. So that prediction came true. Now, in closing, I want to say this, and I want you to listen very carefully. I made another prediction when they got married. I predicted, number one, they would live a good life. Number two, they would live a long life. And number three, that they would accomplish great things in life. You see, class, when the President of the United States, the most powerful man on the face of the nation, gets on the telephone and dials up Charlie Boy and asks him to work with him, class, it don't get any better than that. So to the Honorable Judge Charles Pickering, it is a pleasure. You were our class president. You have been our leader for 65 years. And the class now joins with me, Judge, in saying that we are proud of what you and Margaret Ann have accomplished thus far in life. Class, join with me.
In 1955, Hilton Ray and Margaret Ann were Mr. and Miss Jones County Agricultural High School. And Margaret Ann and Robert Stone were cheerleaders. And Robert Stone had been commissioned by Daddy Thomas to take care of Margaret Ann while she was a cheerleader. But Robert dropped the ball and didn't do that because she had another boyfriend there. What Hilton Ray said about 1955, part of it was true and part of it wasn't. And when we get to sharing time this afternoon after we've had lunch, I will straighten out the part.